So you want to learn how to create these smooth speed ramps in After Effects? Well, stick around because I'm about to break it down step by step in this tutorial. And I've actually been posting daily for like the past 3 weeks and I'm out of effect ideas right now. So that's why I let you guys pick the next upcoming tutorials on my Instagram. And the speed ramp tutorial was really requested. So stick around and let's get right into it. So I'm in After Effects and I got a bunch of clips right here from a music video. And to do speed ramps, there are 2 different effects you can use. The main one that most of you guys know about is obviously Twixer. And I know that a lot of you guys maybe don't have access to any of the paid plugins. And for you guys who don't have the Twixer plugin, there's a time warp effect. And they're basically the same. In my opinion, I like Twixer a little bit more because I just find that it's a lot smoother. So Twixer is what I'll be using for this tutorial, but it's basically the same thing. I'll just show off the settings that I would use for time warp real quick before I hop into the Twixer effect. So if you, for example, want to create a speed ramp, then you just keyframe the speed from 100 because 100 is the normal speed, and then if you want to speed it up, you go ahead and bump it up to like, let's do 500 right here. But as you can see, it's not really smooth if you do that. Like, it just looks like you sped up the clip. So you gotta turn on the motion blur, and then you change the shutter control to manual, and then I'll bump up the shutter angle to 360 and the shutter samples to like 20. And now it just looks a lot smoother if I play through. But yeah, you can already tell that it's a lot smoother when you bump up the shutter angle. And you don't need to keep the shutter angle at 360 if it's too much for you. Like, this is what it looks like. You can keep it at 180 as long as you bump up the shutter samples. But that's pretty much how you use the time warp effect. Now I'll add on the Twixer effect. And first things first, we gotta change our input frame rate. So I'll head up to project, and here it says our frame rate of our clip. So I'll just input that into my Twixer settings, and it's 23.976. And then before we start messing with any of the Twixer effect, I'll just turn up the motion blur compensation to 0.35 because that's what I like to keep it on. And the rest of the settings you can basically keep as they are. Now I'll do a little bit of random speed ramps. I'll start off by keyframing the speed at 100. And then here I'll bump it up a little bit till he puts his arm up. Oh, I bump it up a little bit too much. Let's do like 260. And then here when he puts his arm up, I'll be doing a slow-mo, so I'll turn it down to 25 and then just copy this keyframe here and paste it in here. So this is what it looks like now, and it looks smooth. But as you can see, we have this kind of, I'm not really sure what to call it, but it's when it's a lot of movement going on and you have a low frame rate clip, so it kind of just blends our frames together. Now if you do shoot your stuff in 60 FPS, then you would not have this problem. But what I usually do when there's a lot of movement and it kind of looks like that is that I just kind of skip that part. I just speed it up right here to like 75, so it's not as blurry. So I'll do just like that. And there's not really much you can do about that except for like maybe just smacking on an RSMB later or adding some movement to kind of hide it. That's what I usually do. But here for the end, I'll do like a speed ramp and speed it up a little bit to kind of make a smooth transition. So I'll create a keyframe right here at 25, and then I'll go in like here, bump it up to like 250 or like 200 at least. And then when the scene kind of shifts, I'll go through here. When it shifts, I'll just cut it, since I just grabbed this off of YouTube and I don't have the clips. So now we got this speed ramp going on. And then here for the next clip, what I'll do is I'll add on the Twixer once again, but this time I will do it a little bit differently. So for the first frame right here, I'll keyframe the speed at 100 and I'll press U on my keyboard so I can see my keyframes, and then I'll drag this keyframe back. And then for the first frame right here, I'll bump it up to like, let's do 300 or let's do like 500. And then right here, I can turn it down to like 20. And then I'll ease these keyframes and I'll open up the graph editor and I'll do something like this just for the speed ramp. And now we got this going on. That's smooth. And if you want to do speed ramps for your graph, then I would recommend that you usually go for something like this, because that's what I find is the smoothest for my speed ramps. Then right here, I can let it play, let it be slow-mo until like at the end. And then I'll do the same, kind of speed it up here at the end, just like I did for the last clip. So now if I play through, we got this going on. See, that's really smooth. And I don't think that I mentioned it, but I once again kept the motion blur compensation at 0.35 because that looks really smooth when we have this kind of sped up clips. As you can see, this is the motion blur, and if I kind of remove it, it looks like that. So it's a huge difference. And you could go even higher with this if you feel like it, but it will just add a lot more motion blur. But up to like 0.45 is decent. And here for this next clip, I'll basically just go ahead and do the same thing. You already know what it looks like. I first add on the Twixer, then I input my frame rate, and then I usually start off with keyframing the speed at 100 and then bumping it up right here. Let's do like 1000 this time. And then I can go in to like here, and then I'll just turn it down to 20. And then we'll have something smooth if we bump up the motion blur and then just create a graph for it. Same graph that I did last time, we don't gotta do anything else. Just drag this one up, drag this one down. That way it will kind of have a little bit time to be fast here and then kind of in the middle here and then slow down. And in this clip, there's a lot of movement going on. So what I'll do instead is just drag this out to like right here. And then I'll just turn it down to like 5 instead. And I'll show you exactly why in a second. I just gotta redo this graph. Now we got this going on. And that's really smooth. Now I got another idea, so I'll actually scrap this. But for this part right here, I'll change it down to like, let's do 15. And instead I'll change my graph to something like this. So I can have it sped up right here for like first frame or 2 frames. And then there he grabs his chain. And then I'll speed it up once again, create a keyframe, and then go in 1 frame, bump it up to like 670, just a high number. Doesn't have to be 670, 67, or I'll do like 320 instead. And then when he does that, I'll basically just turn it down to 5 like I did last time. So right here. Now I just did some minor shifts in the graph, but it basically looks like this right now. And this is what we got. Now we have some really smooth time remap effects in here. See, that's really smooth. I'm a huge fan of this. So now you pretty much know how to create these effects and how to make them smooth, what kind of graphs to use and what settings. But now I'll be opening up my VFX kit plugin right here and create an adjustment layer. And in this VFX kit, I have over 150 effects that you simply apply with just 1 click. And it's honestly made editing so much easier. See, in the transitions tab, I have a bunch of transitions, but the ones I'm going to use are the ones down here. We have some simple ones down here, and we have some more intense ones up here. But if I scroll down, I'll use one of these flashes, and I'll add on a flash with a blur. And then I'll just keep it right here for the start frame, just like this. See, that's smooth, and then I can basically just cut it right here and duplicate this layer and then just drag it out a little bit, and then I can keep it like in between my layers right here for a transition. See, that's smooth. And then I just turn on motion blur. So this is basically what I got now, and in the VFX kit we have so much more than basic flashes, but I just use it because it's really simple to use. Like, we got some crazy shakes in here as well if I open it up, and all of these effects you just apply with 1 click. And you can also favorite all of your favorite effects into the favorites tab. But that's basically it for this tutorial. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and make sure to let me know what you want to see next, because I'm honestly out of tutorial ideas and I got like 1 week left. But that's enough yap. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, because I really enjoyed this tutorial, but I'll see you in the next one.